Right then folk, a little bit of a different video this one. I just wanted to kind of document a little bit more of the shed build. As you can see, it is there. But cut back about 3 years ago, this is all very different. I actually bought the house about 3 years ago, and the whole garden area was completely different. And what was initially just a shed build transformed into a garden rebuild, I suppose, or re-landscape. So initially, when I first came here, there was no gate at the back, so we put that in, but there was like a pathway down and steps down. This wasn't, the grass wasn't here where it is now, but then there was like a small patio area, and then onto a small stepped area inside, and yeah, so that's how things were before, but as you can see, it's a bit different now. So what was initially just a small shed build became a whole garden, which is why this has cost about 5 times more than what I was kind of expecting it to cost, which has delayed a lot of work on the shed. You can see one of my latest projects here on the left hand side, which I'm slowly working on, but I've obviously been ill a little bit with COVID and things, so haven't really got too much more done on it, but as soon as I come back from my trip I will get some more work done on it. But today we're going to be doing a little bit of work on the shed, pick the weather for it as well. So with the shed, what the idea is that it's going to become a brew shed. It's not a pub shed or anything like that, but for me to do some home brews and also store some equipment in there, which is pretty much what it's being used for at the moment. It's a tip in there, I do apologise, but yeah, it's just in the winter, that's where I just shove everything, to be honest, and I am looking to get rid of some things out of there as I kind of transform my setup a little bit. But so what I've got initially, just to show you, running here, I've got electrical cable running underground, going in the back. I've also got water running from there all the way into the back, and internet. The internet and the electrics aren't wired in yet, but they're in under the ground. So that's part of the project. As you can see, cable running out of there. But that's going to go on to that in due course. As you can see in here, it's just a bloody tip. I've damp-proofed most of it. We haven't done that wall because it was a bit fiddly, and I was trying to focus on putting insulation in this corner, which is quite tricky. Was quite tricky, so I just used expanding foam. Up the top here, we've got to put a bit more DPM, and I'm going to put a vent in one of them. I think probably in this one, put a vent up the top, just so we don't get a bit too bogged down really in here. But my job for today is get a load of this shit out, put it outside, just so I can measure the floor, because as much as the floor is lovely like this, I want to raise it up and put some insulation on it. So I want to take all of this stuff out, put it outside, and I'm going to tarp over it. And then the job today is basically to try and do as much of the floor as I can. So that is what I'm going to be doing, is putting down some strips, putting down some DPM first, screwing that all off, putting that all into the floor with I think I've got a what have I got? Staple gun to put it all in, and then on top of that putting the batting down, some insulation panels, and then MDF over the top. So today at least I want to get definitely get the DPM down, get some of the MDF, some of the batting down as well, get out of there because it's a mess. But yeah, also obviously get a load of this stuff out. So you can see there's my kegerator, some beers and stuff that I got, a lawnmower, some hops, my fermentation fridge, which I'll keep. I'm actually going to get rid of the kegerator and use a different setup, but we're going to move a lot of the kind of summer stuff out and put it all under tarp outside and get this floor started. I'm going to be knackered doing it, but it needs doing. So yeah, that basically brings the floor up, and then I can start work on the rest of it really. Over the next coming weeks I want to do that wall, and get the insulation in for that wall, because there's nothing going on that wall. This wall, I'm going to have the main kind of workbench area The water point is in the corner in there, and the electrics will come through there as well. I'm going to have an electrics kind of manifold box on there, or that wall there. I just need to speak to my Sparky about it. So Sparky said basically just to try and prep everything for him for when he comes in. So where I'm going to have my sockets. I've got all the stuff. It just needs doing basically. And then we put in insulation panel there. Well, you need to work out how I'm going to go around the windows. So at the moment I've just got these on, but I'm going to put some proper blinds in. And the insulation panel there as well. Shelving probably up the top there afterwards, but basically what I want to work on is trying to get to the point where floor's done today, or started at least, and we've got some maybe some insulation down as well. But yeah, it's a start of a build, I suppose, inside of here. Right, folks. So the shed is empty. I have just shoved a load of it outside, if not down the steps. Been to B&Q and got some timber slatting. So this is how I'm going to do the floor. First of all, I'm going to put damp proof down. Same stuff as this. I've got a massive, huge roll of it. So we'll do that for the floor. And then on top, we're going to lay, in the corners, I'm going to go all the way around the outside to start off with, some, I think it's 30mm by 25mm timber. And we're just going to lay that around the outside, and then I'm going to work out from there how many battings I want to do of it, because how I'm going to do batting of it, and then the insulation board to go in between. Now it's foam insulation board I've got, and that should fit in quite nicely in between. I just need to cut it all up. Had to buy like over the amount I need, so what I'm probably going to do with the excess is just shove it in like the small kind of awkward bits and just double block it. I might have to go back to B&Q later on today to go and get some MDF. I just wanted to see how far I can get first, really, before I get more MDF and put it over the top, because MDF is pricey, and I kind of wanted to know exactly how much I'm going to need before I do it. But I could also go to work and see what I've got there, because I know there's some offcuts, which might just do as like a temporary floor, but we'll see how we go. So I've swept up as much as I can. I've just seen there's a bit of wood there. I'm going to pin these back so I've got some more light in here whilst I'm doing it. And then we'll crack on. Van's just over there, so I've got 12 bits of timber, which is probably too much, but I just thought I'd get some just in case. And then I've got 2 sheets of insulation board. So yeah, let's put the damp proof down first, and then see where we are from there. Cheers. Now, there's one thing I learned from doing the walls, is that this stuff is way too big for the job I've got at hand. So it's a pain in the ass to do, but that's why it's all skew with and raggedy patches and stuff. It'll do the job. It'll do the job absolutely fine. Still want to have some ventilation in it, of course, still, but so basically I've got, like, this folds out all the way to here, but I'm basically going to pin a couple of bits on the back, leave just a little bit of a lip there, like you do with a house or anything, and I'll fold that back when I do put some tape down and things to hold it into place. But then obviously the insulation board will hold it in as well, and then I'll just start batting the back bit down, bat a little bit more, make sure it's nice and flat. Then I'll start getting out further towards the edge here, and then that's where I'll probably start to cut this, because you can see it is well and truly double the size of the room. Could go out in the front in the garden and measure it, but nah, when you're on your own it's also a pain in the ass. So just work our way out, and then this stuff, I've then got smaller bits to do the sides and stuff. It's easier to work that way. But yeah, let's crack on and try and find my staple gun, because it's somewhere. I might have to go to Screwfix and go and get some more staples, but we'll see. Episode 2 of I forgot how much of a pain in the arse this is. So I managed to get it lovely and, well, you know, nice and flattish. Just stapling to the edge at the moment, but nice and flattish on this side. And I stapled some of that in, but we're getting a bit of crinkle, so I'm going to work my way round, but that just kind of holds it in place a little bit better. I'm going to work my way round and get to a point kind of over here in this corner. I'm almost there, to be honest, now, where I need to start cutting this back and, you know, rather than it just being chucked out the door. But yeah, it is a right faff. It is a right faff. It's easier if there's two people, but, you know, I kind of want this to be a little project of my own, so, yeah, I'm going to crack on with this, and, yeah, look forward to this bit being done. It's a bit easier afterwards, I think. Right, folk, we're done. I ended up finding a tool known as a spirit level, and surprisingly that really helps in, you know, spreading it nice and flat. So yeah, I've got it all now done up to that corner, up to that edge. Just leaving that flappy bit on for a little bit and I'll finish it off later. What I decided to do was something that's been bugging me for a little bit of time, is what to do with the doors. So I've just damp proofed over the top, over the edge, just so that's kind of sealed a little bit. And I think it's probably going to be one of the last jobs I do, is sorting out the doors, and how I want to have them. I kind of want to work on everything else beforehand, before I sort that out, because, you know, what do I do with this, all the frames and all this edging and stuff? I'll probably do something when I, you know, work out what I'm going to do with blinds and things like that. But maybe, you know, block that corner in a bit better than what it is, and put up some mini shelves or something in that corner. I haven't worked out yet what I'll do, but we'll know probably once we've done all the walls and everything. But yeah, so that's all down, all damp proof down. I haven't put anything on the floor, haven't stapled it into the floor at all. I've literally just done it around the outside, because I think as soon as I put the timber batting down along with the insulation, it'll hold it down as well. So the rate we're going though, we might be doing a second trip to B&Q today and going and get some MDF at vast expense. But yeah, we'll see how we are. Immediately feeling echoey in here, but yeah, any feedback as well be, you know, greatly appreciated. If you've got any suggestions on how I should do the door, yes. Yes, I realised that was there afterwards. I was like, oh shit, where's it gone? It's there. So I'll neaten all that edge up in due course. But yeah, fairly happy with just getting that down so far. That's only taken about 40 minutes or so to get it all nice and flat and level. Found that underneath it, which was in that corner, which I filmed earlier, and didn't move. But yeah, I think I've definitely done a neater job on the floor. It's a bit easier to hit the floor, considering you can kneel on it, than doing the walls. But yeah, we'll crack on. We'll go and get some timber out the van, and we'll put it in. I think we'll have a cup of tea first though. You know when I said this would be the easier bit? So it turns out on every corner where there's a little bit of damp proof coming in, it's really fiddly to actually get it so that these beams actually sit level. So I had to go back underneath in the corners and kind of cut away a little bit, and I thought, you know what I'll do, I'll just set these beams in a little bit from the outside. So yeah, that's why they're kind of in at a slightly, you know, in a little bit. So we're going to go, you can see what I'm doing here, I'm just basically laying out where I'm going to have the beams going across and how the insulation is going to sit in between. So we go in, I think it's like every, what did I put, 32 mil to the centre of the line, to the centre of the post, sorry, is where I'm going to put these beams down. I've only got that many screws left. I mean, screw fix is literally just there, but I can go and pick up some more if I really need to. But yeah, that should just about be enough, and then we'll do the insulation afterwards. But yeah, it's been proper fiddly getting that in and getting it level, because initially I was kind of screwing it to the edge, but then I was finding that the beam was twisting and all sorts. I had a right issue with that bit of timber because it was snapping on the end. I initially had it down there and it was snapping on the end, screws were getting stuck inside of it, and fuck it, pull it all out, chopped it up, put it onto that end instead and put a new one down there. So that's the only one there actually that's actually tight onto the edge there, because, you know, there's no fucking damp proof on it. So, so yeah, gonna plod along. Got a tiny little gap in that corner, and be fine. But I think, to be honest, that's actually more beams than I was actually initially going to go for, because I bought all that extra wood for, you know, working on you know, any kind of mistakes and whatever. I thought I'd get some more, so I'm going to end up with more joists, which just, you know, effectively means a slightly stronger floor. But I'm slightly tempted to block up, you know, do a couple more extra blocks in that bit there of whatever offcuts I've got, like these bits. Just block it off a touch, because I know that's going to be getting the most amount of kind of like footfall on it. So I might do like a cross beam in there or something like that. You know, kind of how you do a stud wall, but for a floor. I've never done a floor before. I've always drawn them when I was at uni and stuff like that, but yeah, I've never done a floor before. I've done walls and lots of block work and stuff, but never built a floor. So yeah, but yeah, it's going to give us a nice insulated bottom, which I'm very happy with. And then the only thing is, in the summer it's probably going to be bloody warm in here, but in the winter, which is probably when I'll do a lot of my brewing, it's going to be nice. But like I said, obviously put a vent up there, and then that'll sort any kind of airflow, or maybe one down the bottom possibly, so it doesn't get too much of a sweat box in here. But yeah, coming on nicely, and we'll do this, and we'll put the insulation down, and I think we might nip back to B&Q, and might be a bit of a late shift in here doing stuff, but you know, then I'll at least get it done. So happy days, let's crack on. Right folks, so we're coming along nicely. This stuff is horrible to use as part of styrene foam, but it's cheap, so you know, there we go. I could have used Kingspan, which would be nicer, but this stuff was cheap, so I'm using it, and it's horrible to use. So yeah, most of it I actually cut inside the shed here, and then I thought, oh no, I'll just go inside the van and cut it instead, which became a bit easier. But yeah, so we've done that lot. We've gone through one board and a little bit of another, which is what I kind of expected. And then the rest of the front of this will just be off the second board, and any offcuts I've got, which I've got a couple over there. One or two of them might do for these bits, because what I'm going to do, especially on this one here, I'm going to put some batting in, because I expect to be kind of standing on this space a little bit more as you come in, especially. So as you step in, you'll be, you know, putting a bit more pressure on. So I thought put a batting across it, and then put another little insulation block on the inside of that. But what I want to do now, I can do that later on. But what I want to do now really is go and get some MDF, and put the MDF down, at least over a portion of it, so I can you know, get some stuff inside, because the weather's starting to turn a little bit. But yeah, we're coming along nicely, dear lads. Yeah, so like I say, I'm going to run out of light shortly, maybe about 6:30, 7ish or something. We'll run out of light. So yeah, I want to just plod on a little bit and get some MDF down, and then we'll be good to go, really. There we go. Right folks, so got 3 of the boards down. I'm not screwing them in, because I've noticed a little issue, which I'm going to have to play around with, and that is that obviously the way that these boards lie, I couldn't get them any longer to go that way in the width I wanted, which, if there was 2 of us doing it, then we probably would have you know, put them around the other way. But I've managed to get them in 60mm by 186, I think they are, and I'm cutting them down to 180, and I'm cutting down to like 165, which, you know, is the cheapest, the most kind of affordable way of doing it, because otherwise the strips were coming in at like £29, and I've managed to get these all at £17 each, so, you know, a bit of a saving there. But what I'm going to have to do is, because some of these, where they sit, there's a bit, you know, it's sitting on the edge of a beam, sort of a thing. So, you know, what I could have done is obviously cut it to half a beam size, and, you know, and go on, but I've ended up using loads. So what I'm going to do, not today because we're running out of light, but next time I'm going to put some batting in between, like I was going to do here I've got loads of wood left over, so I'm just going to do it pretty much everywhere and put batting across to end up having like a lots of boxes or rectangles, which then kind of means I don't have to use quite as much insulation, but I got the insulation anyway. So what I'm going to do now is have a break, because I haven't really had one. When I said have a cup of tea, I didn't have one at all. So I'm going to move the last bit of wood in. Obviously I need to cut it down, so I'm just going to plonk it in here for the moment, and I'm going to start moving the stuff back inside, because I'm away next week, and probably not going to come back to this for another couple of weeks or so. So just wanted really to kind of get a start made today, so I can feel that tipping as I'm going onto it. But I really wanted to make a kind of start on it, so happy with what I've done so far. Next stage, I think really we'll probably be doing that wall, putting the insulation board in that wall, and then just putting some batting just to hold the insulation in and everything. And looking at what I'm going to do for this, probably insulation over that as well. Yeah, kind of coming on a little bit. Let's put the light on so you can see a bit more of... Okay, just fall over. Where am I on? I'm standing on something there. So, yeah, if we stand on that, would be okay. So yeah, as you see, where we are, progress. So that's, that's a little issue I've got to sort out. So like I was saying, put some boxing down, and then we won't have this issue. Yeah, coming on for sure. I'm very happy with the amount of work I got done today. I didn't expect to even get the boarding on. I didn't expect to get all the insulation done, but happy days. So, like I say, I'll cut some of that insulation out, put a couple of boxes in, probably just do it all over the floor really, so we get, more sturdy. And then obviously where these joins are, there's always going to be a little bit of give on it, but hopefully there'll be less, like I say, once we got the boxes in. And then ultimately on top of this, there will be a vinyl mat or something like that. Which will take it, oddly just gone almost flush with the frame there. I didn't even really think about what thickness this was, but it's come, it's kind of worked out really. And then we'll do something proper with this little bit here, with the lip. We'll sort something out on that, and then the doors, of course. But yeah, a nice kind of start today. It's absolutely black in here. Lighting wise, something that I'm going to have to look into. I do have a strip, so you're probably not going to be able to see it very well, but I do have a strip. If I pop that on, there we go. We've got a strip that can go there, but not sure if I'm going to use that strip yet that I've got. It was left over from another project I had, because my thought half is to put like some shelves there for beers and stuff for when I want to do homebrew videos and stuff. Probably put the camera in the corner there, or here or something, and then this is where obviously where the brewing will happen. Yeah, we're good start though. Good start on the floor, because that's been the one thing that's kind of bugging me for some time is knowing that I've got to get the floor done before I can start anything else. And overall, the floor has cost about 150 quid, because bloody price of timber nowadays. The first lot, 140 quid, something like that, I'd say. All this MDF came to about £72, I think it was, and then the insulation and the kind of subframe that I built, around about again 75 or so. So yeah, around about 150 quid. Obviously DPM I'm not really costing into that, because I've had that for ages. That roll is left over from when I first did the concrete underneath all of this, because underneath this there's about, well, like I said, there's like, I think it was £1,600 worth of concrete underneath this, or £1,800, I can't remember now, it's a long time ago, before this shed was plopped on here. Yeah, very happy with how the subframes come up, and also it's not really affecting eaves height as well. I'm quite tall, I'm what, 6'2", and I will still be able to stand in this corner with the, even with a bit of ceiling, just about be able to stand in this corner, I must say. Let's walk down that centre line and get back out of here. But yeah, I'm going to put some stuff in here in a second. So yeah, very happy really with the progress of today. It's going to take another couple of full days of work on it. And I haven't really fully decided what I was going to do with the walls. It's probably going to have to be MDF again on there, but I'll try and get some like thinner sheets or something, you know, ply or something. So I was half thinking about going at it with pallet wood like that, but I think if I were to do pallet wood, I'd have to put something behind it to start off with, because yeah, that's all pallet wood, but I'd probably have to put like a plywood line or something, and then pallet wood over the top to give it a nice kind of effect. I think it would look good with pallet wood as well. But and pallet wood, I've got plenty of it at work. So yeah, like I say, happy with the start. You can't see anything. There we go. Still can't see very much, but yeah, there we go. And as for how, you know, how it kind of started. When this shed came, I didn't actually say about this before, but when the shed came, the folks who installed it didn't really do a proper job. They were moaning about the position of the telegraph pole, and they were saying, oh, we can't put the roof on. So me and a mate put the roof on, and it was painted black. That's how it came. That's how the one, you know, I liked it. Then I had to sort out all the fascia boards on the top and on this side. This one's actually missing one. I need to put it up for this edge. But, you know, up there, working all the way around the telegraph pole, which I get about £2.99 a year for. And then, yeah, lots of work to do yet. But, yeah, good start, like I say. Anyway, cheers.